Welcome back to
Hello.
another Color Me Beautiful show. Color Me Beautiful show episode.
Yeah, I know it's hard to remember. We years ago we were doing this and we called it Wine About It Wednesday, and
Mhm.
so people were like, "Why? Are you drink? What are you talking about? Alcohol? What?" So we decided that we would call the show what it is, and
Mhm.
it's basically Color Me Beautiful.
Mhm.
All sorts of
Everything
aspects of
revolving,
Color Me Beautiful.
right? Everything revolving around Color Me Beautiful and what color analysis and how we can help you
Yeah.
pretty much at the end of the day.
And if I decide to drink during these, it's totally fine.
Actually, not with these new fancy mics. They're just
Oh.
going to hear you like gulping. All right. So, no drinking on this episode.
And that's the
Sorry.
second thing we need to bring up, where we've got all this new equipment that we don't know how to use, that I don't know how to use, and that Sarah's learning how to use. So we've had some crazy glitches. So if that occurs, please be forgiving and
Yes.
understand that we're trying to get this right.
Please just let us know. And that
Yes.
reminded me, I should probably check our settings real quick to make
Ah,
sure they can even hear us. All right. So we do have a quick housekeeping thing. We are going to switch instead of Wednesdays, we are going to be switching to Tuesdays now.
ta-da.
After hearing from you guys and a lot of comments saying that Wednesdays weren't the best. So everyone kind of said that Tuesdays were best. And if not, they could watch the replays back on their Wednesday time. So
Mhm.
we did have a lot of requests to move from Wednesdays. So we are doing that for you guys.
So here
And
we are.
yes, thank you for letting us know. It really helped us in figuring out a time slot that would be best. So thank you again for all of your help and all of your comments. And I
And comments are terrific. One of the things we're uh, mentioning on every show is we're soliciting pictures of you. If you
Mhm,
decide that you want some help, and what we're looking at is this versus that. If you want to send us two pictures of anything and say, what do you like, this or that? Whether it's an outfit, whether it's your
mhm,
makeup, how you're doing your makeup, uh, pretty much anything.
mhm.
Uh, Send it along and we'll share it with everybody, and we'll all talk about whether we like this versus that.
Absolutely. And speaking of makeup,
Makeup.
today, we're talking blush, getting into the
Blush.
right season of blush. Obviously, Color Me Beautiful makes it extremely easy because we label every single shade to
Mhm.
match your designated season. So you know right then and there if the blush shade is going to work for you or not. Um,
Could I just say, just real briefly, cosmetics in general, the trends in cosmetics, and it's been lately, although it's dying down. Women have decided they're just not going to wear blush. That became a trend. Don't wear
mhm.
blush. Just
Oh,
it,
the super matte
yeah,
makeup look.
make
Mhm.
your skin perfect. You don't need blush. It's better. Yeah, you do. And
Well, it's definitely coming back now. I will say I have seen a lot of blush going up and around, especially with a lot of the new influencers really like to utilize blush, I think.
well, it's got to come back because let's face it, blush was developed throughout the centuries for a reason. It
Mhm.
makes you look flushed and
Mhm.
full of life and vigorous and happy and all these wonderful things. And in our society, we have this wonderful thing called blush. We can fake it.
Mhm.
If we're tired, if we have no energy, if we haven't, you know, walked up the steps in 20 years, if we've done, you can still make it look like you're in the flush of youth if you pick the right blush.
Mhm. Absolutely. And today we did want to share with you some of Color Me Beautiful's blush shades because I feel like when you can see a warm versus a cool blush, you can really
Hmm.
understand and kind of can pull out when you're shopping online or whether you're in store what's going to be a warm or a cool blush. So,
And bright versus deep. And it's all encompassed within the Color Me Beautiful system. Sarah, if you want to bring up a slide, I can continue to talk about why the Color Me Beautiful blushes are so fabulous and um, helpful. I guess
of
helpful is
course.
a great word. I mean, you can go and you can find blushes all over the place. You can find blushes everywhere. And You can find them at high-end department stores, you can find them in mass, and people have a lot of different blush shades. Now, obviously, the formula of the blush, the way the blush is manufactured, it matters. It matters in the application, it matters how you use it. Um, so, first and foremost, we want to tell you that these blushes, they're French milled, um, they're beautifully pressed, they're layerable. That's a difficult word for me to get. But by layerable, what I mean is if you put on one swipe of blush, it will look a certain way. And some blushes, if you get them, you can put on multiple swipes of blush and it will look the same way. With Coloring Beautiful blush, which is layerable, you can put on one brush worth of blush. That is so hard to say. I deserve applause for that. Or you can use it, you can choose to layer it. And sometimes your outfits, the clothing that you're wearing, the colored lipstick you're wearing will determine whether you put on a little bit of blush or you layer your blush up a little bit more. Now, we're not suggesting that you end up looking like somebody out of the French Revolution. Um, it, Obviously, you want to look like this is your natural flush of health and vigor.
Although I will say, I feel like French Revolution blush is coming back.
Well, okay, I take it back. If you want to do your blush like a la, you know, Marie Antoinette, go for it.
Mhm. So we are showing our summer and winter blushes. As you can see, all of these blushes are very cool tones, except you towards the bottom, we start to get into our all season blushes.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting blush that I do want to talk about here because it kind of just pops out.
Petal.
Petal Pop.
Yeah, it pops.
Yeah.
And
And I do want to know why that was designated as a winter shade.
well, because of its the richness of color, and this is one.
And winters, before we keep going on, winters are high contrast and they can wear a lot of vibrant colors. So those really bright and bold shades. Sorry for interrupting, but
No,
I just
no,
want
no.
to
That's
all of you
perfectly
out
right.
there.
But this particular blush is unique and fabulous. It's my favorite blush, and I'm a summer. I use it. It's at my absolute favorite because this is one of those shades that mimics the skin under your skin, your blood vessels. They're, the thing that makes you blush, or the thing that makes you red in the face or whatever. They're your blood vessels, and they're under your skin. And the reason we have this flush of health, when we exercise or whatever, it's because you have um, a more vast amount of blood getting to the surface of, not to the surface of your skin, but under your skin, and you're starting to see that. And this particular blush, beyond all others, gives this natural blush. You're healthy, vigorous, like you just walked outside and did a run kind of blush.
Well, we happen to have that blush in our hand, so I'm going to go ahead and bring us back so everyone can take a quick look at what we see. Look how gorgeous.
It's beautiful. And something that we all know is that watermelon is, well, maybe not. Maybe we don't all know. The people who come here regularly and visit with us and learn with us know that watermelon is a universal shade. You can wear watermelon if you're a winter, a spring, a summer, or an autumn.
And that's because it's kind of in that neutral tone
It's
area.
not orange. It's not red. It's got a little blue in it.
It's got a little yellow. It's like right in the middle.
So basically, if you took your primary color palette and you just blended that all together in a perfect spot, watermelon is one of those shades that everybody can wear.
I know that you were saying that you use this, even though we don't designate this as a summer shade, a little bit, just a very, very little bit goes a long way.
I'm a renegade, and I've found that using this color,
I'm just tapping my finger and you can see how much pigment is coming off. So can I have, here, I'll just use mine. So I'm just going to do a little bit just to show you. Look how pretty. And then My hand, the camera is not doing it justice. It's a lot heavier
we
than it looks
we
on camera, so I'll just dab a little bit
we have a
more.
lot of fun calling Sarah, you know, well, I won't use the word, uh, Casper, because she is so fair. And
Mhm.
so if you can imagine the fairest skin possible and her being able to use this as an autumn, I mean,
Mhm.
put that up against your cheek. Are you wearing it by
No.
any chance,
No,
Petal?
not at all.
Oh,
This is definitely it looks amazing on winters, but it is very hard to manipulate for a
hey,
autumn
I
or
just have to say I manipulate it just fine, and it works just
Mhm.
fine for summer, and that's pretty.
Well, you
And
saw how little I had to use. Like I was dabbing it on my finger, and of course, my favorite shade is always going to be cedar rose. So I always wear cedar rose. It's my go-to. It's my fave. But I do
look at us pushing our favorites.
well, Petal Pop is a really, really amazing shade, and I just wanted to make a point and make sure everyone notices it because it's a really beautiful shade.
And it's universal.
Mhm.
And we have a hassle-free guarantee. So if you get a shade, you try it, you don't absolutely love it, it's something we've recommended, whatever,
Mhm.
um, you can return it for a different shade, and hopefully a shade that you are in love with.
Of course. So let's bring up the. Oh, you know what I really want to do is I want to bring up all seasons.
Artificial intelligence version of color print.
You know what? I did just knock us out of the screen when I brought up those other shades. I'm so sorry.
What does that mean?
They couldn't hear us.
Ah,
I
well,
I just love to do that. I just want to give you a break.
where did we drop? Where did we drop?
When I was showing warm versus cool.
Ah, well,
Mhm.
the only thing I was going to say is you really can't make a mistake. Yeah, this is what I was yammering on about when you couldn't hear me, because we have a hassle-free guarantee. If you
Mhm.
pick a color, you love it, you order it, turns out not to be the shade you want, we'll make sure you get the shade that works for you. You
Mhm.
know, hassle-free.
All right.
That's
So
what we do.
now I'm going to bring up warm versus cool, and I'm going to make sure you guys can hear me. So here we go. Warm, and we have cool. Now take a look at these two side by side. So
But can they hear us?
they absolutely can hear us.
Thank goodness.
On the left, we have our spring and autumn shades, and on our right, we have our summer and winter shades. Now, Petal Pop that we were just talking about, I wanted to point out, you see it on the spring side as well because of the vibrancy.
Mhm.
And you know how we were talking about watermelon as a neutral? Well, it can go in between a warm and a cool shade. The reason that we don't have it on autumn and summers is because they're softer seasons, but you can absolutely go in very, very lightly, very, very lightly, and use this for those seasons as well.
Well, as I've said, as a summer, I use it. But the one thing I will say is I will have it until the end of days,
Right.
because I don't have to use very much, and it's a light sweep. And I think I love it because I'm lazy. Because with my regular summer blushes that I use, the roses, you have to build those a little to get to where you want to be. This one, nah,
Mhm.
you're there.
And each blush is made to be used for that season. So if you, like she was mentioning, those summer blushes are very soft. so you can actually build upon them. If you're going for a just and where going out doing grocery runs, you can do a very soft application, or if you're going out, you can make it buildable. Also with autumn, it's kind of the same concept, but in warm versions, it's buildable. But with our winters and our springs, the vibrancy is a little bit different, especially with winters. Like when you look at soft plum and petal pop, those colors come off very rich
Mhm.
because those seasons can handle it. So they're just built a little bit differently.
And now I'm going to blow everybody's mind and talk about a different use for blush, and that is contour. We don't talk about that much, but it's definitely something as you enter the summer you may want to think about, and that is using a color that is slightly deeper and maybe just a hair cooler under your regular placement of your blush.
Mm-hmm. Now, take a look, warm versus cool, one last time. I just want to make sure you guys can see when you're out and about, it really helps having those side by side comparisons of looking at what a yellow base shade looks like versus a blue base shade. So on our left, we have our yellow base shade, and on our right, we have our blue base shades. Now, take a look, even those softer colors, you can see the warmth coming through on the left versus the right side, you see a lot of the blue bases. So I just want to make sure one last time you guys can take a screenshot and really understand.
One thing that makes it easy for me to explain to people when they say, well, I don't know the difference between warm and cool. I don't quite get it. And the warm side of any color has a little more sunshine in it. Think of it as a little bit closer to sunshine. And the cool side of any shade has a little more blue. It's a little cooler. It's more of a nighttime shade. So sunny versus nighttime
All right.
is a good
So
way to describe it.
I do want to go ahead to our comments. And we have, oh, Holly. Hi, Holly. It's so good to have you
And
here.
she's our technical advisor.
Oh my goodness. Yes. 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 Oh, yes. We did lose sound for a second. I'm so sorry. I just love to cut us off. It's my favorite thing to do. Really spice things up, keep you on your toes. And Marguerite, hi, how are you? And we have Debbie. Thank you all for joining us so much. Let us know what blush you guys love. And we have, all right, I'm going to go ahead and bring us back so we can talk about some of our other shades. And you know what I do have? Cut us off again. Man, I really love to
Girl,
do that. I know. Okay, so the way that the screen works is our slides, we have to cut them, in and out. But with us, you don't cut us in and out. You have to take away the video or the sound, and I just cut us out.
they didn't need to know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. But you know what? This is why I'm struggling so much, is because there's like a whole different process for getting us off screen versus the slides you guys see. Are
And
there?
we hope it entertained you because
Yes.
it's embarrassing and a little silly.
And if you guys have any blushes that you want to see swatched out right now, I pretty much have all of them. So if there's any that you really want to see, let me know. I am wearing Cedar Rose, like always, because that's my favorite blush in the whole wide world. But you can see that on. And some of our new shades I think you would really like and enjoy. So we have Sweet Melon here. And I did grab a kabuki
Sweet
brush.
Melon is a beautiful, warmer shade of blush that you don't often find something with this kind of nuance out in the marketplace. Usually, when you're looking for a warm shade, and you can go out and you can say, "I want a warm shade of blush," they take you from the roses and the browns right into these yellowish orange shades,
Right.
and nobody can use a yellowish shade of blush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, unless you're ill and maybe you're having a liver issue or something. Maybe you can use it. Who knows? But it's a trick to get a shade that is warm, but yet human looking, like it belongs on a human.
Mm-hmm. And that was Sweet Melon. But look how I should put this shade on. This looks
Go
so
ahead.
good. Look how good this looks with my outfit
It's
today.
beautiful.
Why? Why do I do this to myself? Let's see. All right, I did grab my kabuki brush in case I needed to do this, but now I'm thinking I should have done this. All right, we've got, I'll look with my mirror here. And the kabuki brush that we have online too. Hopefully we can get all of these items posted for you guys.
I'll tell you something really funny. You can let them see the mirror that you're using. This is our powder foundation
Mhm.
compact, and this elongated mirror is so fantastic for applying makeup on the go because you can see your whole face. I don't know if anybody else has a compact that
Mhm.
you kind of use while you're running
Well,
around.
you know what? I don't usually travel with this compact. I travel with the Illuminary Artist Palette.
Mm-hmm.
So the eyeshadow palette has a mirror in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
The larger or the smaller one, the larger
Mm-hmm.
one. Well, one of those. It has a wonderful mirror in it. I love that mirror. That's the one that I usually travel. But this one is nice because it is elongated, so you can get like the
The
whole.
whole face.
Yeah. But
So are you done?
yeah, I applied, what I needed. I like it. It's stacked on top of Cedar Rose, so you guys are getting two blushes at once,
Cool.
just to
I was
visualize.
wondering if you wanted to go all crazy and put Petal Pop on me.
Do you want to? Oh,
Sorry, speaking of going crazy, if you think it would be illustrative,
all right. I mean, how little
you
can
have to
this
go
be?
really light, and
Yeah,
it's one
that's why
quick.
I'm dusting off the excess on my wrist.
She doesn't believe in this. Sarah is like,
You're gonna have
oh,
to
I think it's
turn
going to be real. It's
turn this way.
really
There we go.
really heavy duty for her, but
Well,
it's not.
as long as you soften it up. I mean, when these are like the tricks that we can give you guys. But if we were
Mhm.
to just say, "Oh, this is a summer shade," you guys would say that's ridiculous. But if you soften it up a lot, and when we say this will last you for the rest of your life,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
entire life, this will still be around.
yep.
Look
Now,
look
see,
how gorgeous.
and most people they look at that just like her. They look at that Petal Pop and go, "Oh, a summer, you're too soft. You could never wear that." Well, I'm here to
Well,
tell you, you can.
what do? We soften it up. And that's a trick that you can use. If any of your blushes are too heavy, as long as they're in the warm or the cool range that you are as their season, then just soften it up. Like if you have a vibrant, what are some of our vibrant spring shades? Well, the one I just did. What did we do? We softened it up.
And here's kind of a fun tip that I can demonstrate right now. When you're wearing glasses, what do you do with your blush? You have to punch it up just a little bit because your blush application generally starts at the middle of your cheek, about 2 inches from your nose, and sweeps upward. Well, what else happens there? Your glasses. So
Mhm.
you want to add just a little bit of color in order to kind of make up for that.
All right, and there's another blush that I want to just showcase because it isn't all seasons blush. Oh, it's looking a little blue here. It's probably because of our lighting. I'm
Well, it's
sorry, guys.
interesting because I noticed your shirt. I was looking at your shirt when
Oh,
we.
and it look when I put it next to my shirt, but
Mm-hmm.
then it's looking blue. Let's put it next to your lipstick, which is pretty blue. Look at that. And then I put it over here. Boom.
Yeah, color is kind of miraculous, but her shirt is not as. It looks almost pink on the air
Oh,
on the video.
this bad boy is like orange,
It's orange.
coral.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so it just goes to show you the lighting
Oh,
here that we're
I
using.
need
It's
more
so cool
space.
that it's made her shirt look pink, which is not in her season, and it's made some of these blushes look like they're not as warm as
I
they
did
really are.
one swivel and like it is such a pigmented blush. Look at that. I'm gonna try to dust it down a little bit for our softer season so you can kind of get an idea.
Good,
And look at that. How beautiful is that?
absolutely.
All right, so we have that blush.
Are there any eh, that we need to
Oh,
highlight? Like,
I was kind of just digging through and looking at the new blushes,
oh yeah,
the newer
okay,
shades, because you guys have probably seen us talk about some of the older ones because our favorites are the older ones like Cedar Rose, Allspice for me. Natural Veil is a bestseller. You guys
yeah.
have seen us
Those
talk
are
about it.
go-to
Right,
shades. You
right, right,
should
right.
already have them in your
Hmm.
wardrobe. And do you need more
Very
than one?
cool.
Do you need more than one blush? We'll talk about that after we talk about the shade.
Well, you should take a look at this one because this one's gorgeous too. Orchid Flush. I will
Mm-hmm.
swatch it. It's gonna look warmer on me since it's gonna pull towards that direction, but you can see how cool it. There you go.
And again, this is one of those blushes that
Then,
if you're fair or um, you're not used to using blush, you're going to look at this and go, "Oh, it's so intense."
yeah, here's a dusted down version of
These are
it.
layerable blushes. They are not.
I know.
They're not the color necessarily that you can apply to its buildable coverage. So even the ones that look intense,
Hmm.
nah, they're not
I'll blend this one
unless you
out.
make them intense.
I will blend this one out so you guys can see what it's looking like blended out. Because it's really about, when you are a softer season like both of us, it is how you manipulate that blush a lot of the time. Unless,
Mm-hmm.
coming from us where we design these blushes to be softer for the softer seasons. But if you want to get into a very vibrant shade, you absolutely can just kind of dust it on, sweep it on very lightly. And
Mm-hmm.
you have that softer with the base undertone that you need. And remember, if you are a warm season, springs or autumn, you're going to shift more to the warmer undertones with the yellow bases. If you are a summer or winter, you're going to shift to the cooler seasons. And there you go. Or did I say that right?
Yeah,
You're
you
going to
shift
shift
to
to
the
the
cooler
cooler seasons.
seasons.
Yep. So there you go.
Of course, we in this video we didn't help you much with vibrancy because the nature of the four seasons, spring is really vibrant,
Mm-hmm.
winter is really vibrant,
Right.
autumn is really soft, summer is really soft. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to factor that in with these blushes because they're more than
Mm-hmm.
they're more versatile than they look. So you can see one of these intense blushes, wear it lightly, it's layerable. You can think about contour, going with a deeper
Mm-hmm.
shade to contour. Again, layerable. You can sweep it on really lightly and use it in all the places you would
Mm-hmm.
use a contour.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys have any, oh, you know what? I'm reading comments because I was like, if you guys have any blushes that you want us to
Hmm.
swatch, I pretty much have all of them. So, I did see somebody mention Natural Veil is my favorite.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And it's a bestseller. It's so surprising too. Um,
It's one of those blushes that people tell us everybody keeps it. Everybody, it's
mhm,
all four seasons, people have it. It's a go-to. It's just one of those shades that works for everybody.
mhm. And thank you, Debbie. And Holly, thank you for saying you love my shirt. I really love this color on. I think it looks so good. It really is showing up very pink, but it's actually like this
Orange.
corally orange. Yeah. You know what? I'll take a picture and put it in the comments because I don't think you guys are going to believe me when you see the actual color. Um,
Yeah.
oh, thank you, Diana.